Well, thank you guys, and welcome to another season of the Dani Podcast. Today I'm with Mr. Brian Battista. Is that how you say it? The guy always,
Batista. Yeah, Brian
Battista,
Batista.
and Mr. Campbell Wentworth-Ping. And please correct me if I say that wrong.
Sort of not saying Campbell Wentworth-Ping. I don't think there's a way to say it wrong.
We are at a very special place, which probably I call it. I mean, this is my second home, might be my first home because I spent so much time here, and I probably talk to you guys a lot more than my wife's in the summer months. This is Raritan Valley. We're at this is called the Players Pub. The Players Pub at Raritan Valley Country Club in Bridgewater. And you guys can please introduce yourself. What do you guys do here at Raritan Valley Country Club?
Sure. I'm the head golf professional here. I started last September. I had a little hiatus. I was here 8 years ago or 8 years ago now. So I'm glad to be back. Looking forward to it. Another season.
Yeah. And how about you?
I'm the assistant golf professional. This is the end of my third full season here. So,
yeah. So I asked this to pretty much every single member, but what makes Raritan Valley so special?
You want me to go?
You can start.
I'd say the membership. The membership here is great. Everybody's down to earth, and everybody will play with each other. So
Yeah.
there isn't really any pretentious people here.
Within reason.
Yeah,
Within reason.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I would say I usually describe this club as, I don't know if that's the right term, but more of a blue collar. Blue collar. We're pretty much laid back and we're always trying to have a good time.
Yeah,
definitely
right.
trying to have a good time, and But I mean, how, like in the last 3 years, I mean, especially for you, Campbell, how has the club evolved, and what are some things that will make Raritan Valley enticing to somebody to come here?
We've made a lot of improvements to the amenities at the club. You go to a lot of other clubs in the area, call them our competition, call them whatever you want. They always have that kind of face value of a nice pool or a nice patio or a nice restaurant. And there's dark wood everywhere, whatever kind of suits your eye. And we've made a lot of improvements in that regard. I think to appeal to the younger demographic, we brought in a lot of young families, which is any golf course's real target. You have the kids come use the pool, the wife can play golf or tennis or the pool or whatever. The men will play golf. We're not being sexist, but
Yeah.
I think we've really tried to appeal to that demographic. Any club would say that they have an aging membership. I think our average age is younger than 55, which is very good for a club in this area, given the cost of living out here and everything that takes, as the mortgage guy can tell better than anyone. I think appealing to a good demographic is a good step, and we've made strides for that.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, at least for me, I've been saying it now for a few weeks, and like a good while, is that I feel like my family has already completely embraced this place, and it's just such a great family club.
right.
Where like I have the kids running around, and we have the pool and the golf course, tennis. I haven't picked up tennis because I probably, blew out my Achilles.
Yeah, with your back, you can.
Yeah,
golf's
I
enough.
have enough with my
take it
back,
easy.
but yeah, it's definitely a great place to for anyone with a family. It's very family oriented. But before we go into other stuff, I do want to know how you guys got into the business. Obviously you guys love golf. We all love golf, but how did you start, Ryan?
Let's see. I grew up across the street from Country Club in Florham Park. At the time, it was Brayburn Country Club, and now it's called Brook Lake. But I used to have golf balls landing on my front lawn, and so I used to sneak out on the golf course in the evenings and play 4, 5, 6, 7 holes. Then I started caddying. I started shagging balls for the golf pro. I used to get $2 a lesson. I was 12 years old. I used to get $2 a lesson shagging golf balls for lessons. Then gradually started caddying every summer. Then I worked my way up from caddying to do the carts, the bag room, then, so I've been then also an assistant pro there. And then after around 2000, I went over to Montclair. So I kind of came up through the ranks. So I know all the odds and ends about golf. So
yeah, isn't it amazing how a lot of people just start doing basic stuff at a place and then they just come up, especially here, like you see the younger guys, teenagers always here in the summer working.
Right. But, the superintendent there got tired of chasing me off the golf course.
Yeah.
So he used to let me go because I never, I took care of the course. I never trashed it or anything. The 13th green was about 150 yards from my front door. So I used to go out there and chip and putt at nighttime a lot. And so I wouldn't leave until I hold the chip out. So it's amazing what happens. My short game got really good. All of a sudden, the disparity from your little chip shots around the green went from, this far to this far because I wanted to make it to go home. So, so that's, I used to be pretty good short game. But
I mean, that must have been hard. I'm sure that you weren't using, some lights or anything. You were basically in the dark.
Yeah, well, I get, or till he couldn't see anymore. But usually I usually hold one out before, just off the green, not overly difficult. But I remember that vividly.
Were your parents member at the club?
No,
or no?
my parents, no, they don't even know how to hold the golf club. Never played golf in their life.
So basically, that was your backyard.
That was my little playground.
Yeah.
So, and I used to play with a friend. He, we had a set of clubs and then when we got a little older, we used to bet for ice cream bars because there was a little deli around the corner. So we played for something, even at 15 years old. So
yeah, I mean that always helps to have something on the line.
Right.
How about you, Campbell?
My story isn't as good as that. I always just played sports. I was lucky enough to have parents who wanted me to try every sport in the book, and baseball, lacrosse, basketball, golf, soccer, tennis, you name it. And you get to an age where you got to pick two, and it was golf and soccer for me. And I never really took lessons or anything growing up. I went to a golf camp when I was 12, but we lived close to the VA right in Basking Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
A little 9-hole goat track, but it was great. And you pay your $15 and go walk.
Which one is that course? I know there's a.
Well, it's called the Inspiration Golf Range now, but I think it's still under the VA.
It's under
officially because it's in that area. And I just always loved golf. My uncle was a pro on Long Island forever. He just retired last year, so I always had someone to talk to about it, but I never really wanted to pursue it. All I ever heard was that if you wanted to play golf, don't work in golf. Mm-hmm. So I avoided working in golf. And then got out of college, struggled to find a job. Everyone wants to work in sports when you're 22. And I had held a lot of golfing related jobs. I'd been a grounds intern at Trump in Bedminster. I'd run junior golf tournaments. I ran tournaments in college. But I never really had one path. And my uncle came and visited, and he was like, dude, you got the personality, you got the game, give it a shot. 2 weeks later, I resigned my current job at the time and got my first assistant gig down in Florida, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that, the life of a pro, because it sounds sexy. It sounds very sexy to everyone, even, to me, who's always around golf. But when I came here, when I became a member, I was like, it's a lot of work.
I'm just going to say that it's not. It's not.
It's not? Well, I mean, I know. Sometimes I see you guys and okay, these guys are not out. You would think that they, from somebody in the outside, you would go oh, we're just having fun. How hard could it be, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot of work and yeah, so what is the job of a head pro, of an assistant pro at a country club? What do you guys do in general?
We're going to implicate ourselves here.
Well, first off, you have to oversee the whole golf operation, right? So starts in the shop, right? So you have to do all the ordering, right? All the displays, all the pricing, the invoicing, a lot of back office stuff there. Then in addition to that, tournaments, You got to run the tournament, set them up correctly through Golf Genius, and make sure the outside. You got to make sure the outside is clean. Everything, there's divot mix or sand on the carts, towels, water. Make sure the range is. My pet peeve is cracked range balls and dirty range balls.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure. When you go up on the range, you don't want to find a cracked range ball, right? So you just have to stay on top of everything golf related.
You're running like 3 or 4 different businesses. You're running a merchandise business. You're running a staff operation, which is all 17-year-olds who don't want to work ever. You're running a golf course, tournaments, like Brian said. It's, I would never really argue that it's a difficult job, because I don't think it is. I'll never sit here and say that we have a stressful life like a Wall Street guy or a mortgage guy maybe who could say.
I play a lot of golf, so I wouldn't call it stress. There's definitely I could be working at a factory for a lot less money.
You got to teach and coach. You got to run programming. You got to manage programming. And then you have to work with all the other departments. You have to make sure that you're coordinating with marketing and membership and grounds and tennis to make sure that it's all one cohesive unit.
Food and beverage, right?
Food and beverage obviously is a big one. It's not difficult, but it's long and it's balanced. You have to find the right way to run things, and obviously memberships have preferences. And the people that we work with and work for have preferences and choices, and we have to tailor that as best as we can. But you're never going to make everyone happy. A tournament, some people love, some people hate. Merchandise, some people hate. Holderness and Born shirts, some people love them. They don't fit right. It just is what it is. Overhead and everything like that. So it's a balancing act for sure.
So basically what you're saying is that besides being a really, really good golfer, you have to also be a good, know how to manage a business. And that's, that's a surprise to a lot of people, because again, most people think, okay, he's a pro, that the only thing that he does is teach, and that there's just so much more in that goes into that. For example, like tournaments, like how do you plan a tournament? Like what things go into mind when we're thinking about the club championship, for example? Like what are some of the things that you have to plan for it?
Well, you got to advertise. Even the club championship, you have to advertise for it, and that starts months in advance. So, we set the schedule. The schedule for next year is already done. So that now you're going to start advertising in maybe January, February, before the season even starts. While advertising every other golf tournament you have that's between August and March and August, because you want the club championship to be the best event, one of the best events at the club. You have to set rules. It has to be very well defined. Obviously, it's a qualifier. You have to define the qualifying rules. And then, getting into it, you have to establish flights. You have to mark the golf course. You have to set pairing. It's, again, not strenuous, but it takes coordination and timing and planning.
Yeah. How many, besides that, when it comes to lessons, like how many lessons do you guys usually do a year?
Well, let's see. I don't teach as much as I nearly used to, not as much as I used to, just because of time and, and also when I was an assistant, I knew that was the best way for assistants to make money is to teach. So I over the years, try to get my assistants to teach as much as possible, because I know it's additional income. Right. So, but during the season, excluding a few clinics, probably do about 7 a week or so, 8. It all depends. The spring and early summer is probably when we're the busiest teaching. This time of year, with winter coming, you're not really teaching.
It's
right. So
a lot of people forget about it and they're thinking.
So, but I do enjoy it, and technology helps with the teaching too. So it's good. It's real good.
Now, how has the business changed? The business of, I know in the past, and I might be mistaken about this, please correct me, but like when head pros used to make their money by running the pro shop, right?
Right.
And that's how they used to get paid. So basically, hey, you have a chance to run the business. And
especially in the Northeast, the golf professional used to own the golf shop. Some of them still do in the Northeast, but you're seeing a trend more and more where the club's taking it over. For instance, when I was working at Ballastraw, Doug Steffen used to own the golf shop, but we were also on his payroll. But a place like that does a lot of business.
Mm-hmm.
So the club, when Doug retired, the club took it over. So you're going to see bigger clubs start taking over the shop, especially in the Northeast now. And maybe the smaller clubs, middle of the road, not as big as a 36-hole facility.
Mm-hmm.
The golf professional still own the shop.
It's still on the shop.
Right.
I guess that's, it just makes more sense for the actual management company, the club, to.
Right.
Right.
So.
More or less, how much are we talking about in revenue for like a regular pro shop out there?
Well, the bigger clubs, the 36, the top 20 clubs in the country will do over 2 million in sales.
Or 2 million.
Right. We're probably around 250 in sales.
250 in sales.
Right. So there's a big difference between 2 million and 250. So
yeah, I definitely would like to be owning that $2 million revenue.
Right.
Yeah,
but you're not making 2 million.
Yeah,
you're probably making 18%, roughly. So that's probably a rough number. But
so is that something that they teach you? I mean, you guys obviously have your PGA licenses and all of that, but is that something that they teach you while you're getting your licenses? Is like how to manage the business, or is that completely different?
I mean, I'm in it right now, and they'll talk to you about running the golf business, but not running the golf shop. Because owning the golf shop is such a dwindling thing. I mean, I can only think of like 3 clubs off the top of my head in New Jersey that are, owned by the pro. So they want to cover you being able to balance a budget for a staff and payroll and expenses and things like that versus owning the actual golf shop.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, are there? Because I know a friend. I mean, he went to are there schools out there? Like, for example, if I'm 18 years old and I'm thinking about going into the business, are there schools out there like 4-year colleges that will provide like a degree on golf management? Or
there's 10 of them.
Yeah,
I think 11. NC State, Campbell College in North Carolina. There's a few around the country. Penn State's the big one.
Penn State.
So you basically graduate with your full PGA.
Oh, you got okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's like an Esquire. So it's like Brian Battista, PGA. So you can graduate with that. You get internships along the way, usually at pretty nice places. But they also offer it online for those who don't know if they want to fully commit to doing that in college.
Now, would you say that's the best way for someone to go that route, or just?
I'm not sure. I mean, we've never, we didn't go through it, so I don't know.
The people I know who have done it or are in it struggle more with burning out. This profession will, there's a lot of burnout, a lot of turnover in this profession, just because it can be stressful and the hours are long, and there's certainly FOMO. You give up your holidays and your weekends and stuff like that.
You're in the hospitality business, basically,
right.
yeah.
Right.
So, could you make the argument that if you do it, you might start working at some nicer clubs to start with? Like my one friend's an assistant at Congressional right out of college.
Yeah.
Pretty good gig, and you might be eligible for head pro jobs earlier, but are you really ready for a head pro job at 25?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Who could say?
Because you're dealing with a lot of tough personalities in this business.
Yeah, and especially places like they're going to go work. I mean, no offense to Congressional and Aronimink and all the big clubs, Baltusrol even. I mean, those are high pressure, high standard, high expectation jobs and you're hosting majors and you're hosting huge section events that require outside interference, and you have to balance all that, and it can be very tough, So
it's just the hours too. I mean, I do know that you guys, anyone in this business is just putting crazy hours.
Right.
Especially in the summer when everyone's having fun. You guys are out here.
Yeah, you have to balance work and family.
FOMO's a real thing.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
You have to definitely balance that. If I'm not here, I'll be at one of my son's sporting events.
Yeah.
That's it. I either go to a sporting event or I'm here. So it's you have to balance it. You have to balance work and family for sure.
Now talking about your kids, because now since you brought it up, like how I have 2 little ones, and I think a lot of us here, a lot of members, and a lot of golf nuts like me, they always want their kids to like play golf, right?
Right.
But you also don't want to make sure that you're not that guy who's pushing something into your kid that they don't really want to. Like usually, what would you find is the best way to introduce your kids to golf?
Well, first you'd have to expose them, right, and not force it. I never forced golf on my boys. They played I won't say a lot. They played a little bit when they were younger, like 7, 8, and 9. Then they stopped playing, and I never forced them to play because I've seen a lot of burnout, not just golf, but when parents shove sports down, a particular sport down someone's throat. So I've always been an advocate of multiple sports for kids. So, my boys played everything. So the beauty of not forcing it, my older one, he took about 8 years off, and now he wants to play again. So, whereas if I shoved it down his throat, he might not want to come back.
Yeah.
So I'd say expose your children to golf, make them play other sports. Then they'll come back around.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, you'd run. Who runs it? Because that's another thing. So we have. Is at every club, but there's a PGA Junior
League.
Mm-hmm. And how does that work? If you could tell me a little bit more about that.
So it's a national program. Any club can sign up for it. You have to go through some basic training. Make sure you're not a pedophile. Essentially.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Can I say that? We passed our training. Don't worry, it's fine. And then it just open signups between the ages typically of 7 and 13. Mm-hmm. They do allow or have programs for older kids. Just depends on the size of the program itself. We had 17 kids in our junior league my first year here, which is great. You play clubs in the area. Junior league is more of an intro to competitive golf versus an intro to golf. So I would hesitate to tell someone who wants to introduce kids to the sport to do that because it can be a little more competitive. You get some parents out there. Golf parents, I've always said, are the third worst sporting parents.
What are the
baseball and hockey?
Baseball and hockey?
Hockey's pretty brutal. And baseball, I just think, has a culture now of them being horrible. But golf, you get some tough ones out there, especially with like rules and etiquette. You want all of that to be like much more casual at a young age. You don't need to know the rules. You need to learn what ready golf is. You need to learn how to be respectful, of course, but you don't need to, like do a lot of the things that a private club would expect its members to do, for example.
You want to make it fun for them.
Right, make it fun for them.
Make it fun.
So yeah, it's always a balance.
So if I'm thinking, so like my 5-year-old who she's super tall. I don't know where she got that from because I'm definitely not tall, but she's definitely my kid because she looks just like me, But how, should I? Because she definitely likes golf. So I'm thinking, is it a good idea to be like, hey, Campbell, can you give her a lesson? Or is that something that, can you just like the basics?
At 5?
Yeah.
I mean.
Or even like, let's say at 8 or 9,
The big thing is at that age, make sure their hands are together and they finish their swing on their right toe, right? If they're right-handed golfers, just make, so once they start getting a little older, maybe, 10, 11, 12, maybe start doing some lessons. But you just have to, keep it simple for them because their attention spans aren't there, so just, maybe start off at, age 5, maybe with just like a putter and a 7-iron.
Yeah. Just bring her in the cart.
Yeah. Maybe hit a couple shots. That's,
right. If they whiff, so be it. Try again. If they don't want to play, don't play. I'm going through it with a 31-year-old girlfriend. So it's like,
I think I seen you out there. I was like, oh, who is
I'm not
that?
ashamed, but like,
is that Campbell with somebody? I was
she'll
like,
whiff, she'll whiff and get all frustrated because she's an athlete, field hockey player. And I'm like, hey, who cares? Who cares?
I'm sure she's going to blame you for her bad game,
Well, because it's the same thing Brian said. It's like I think everyone thinks that we have expectations for how someone else should play golf. Mm-hmm. I don't even have expectations for how I play golf. I don't care. I'm like over it at this point. If I play well or poorly, so be it. So I just want you to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it with you. If it's a child, if it's a wife, partner, fiance, whoever, just have fun. Go out there and just enjoy it. And if you learn something, great. If you don't, then hopefully you, I don't know. There's like worse places to spend a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, no, I think that I mean, you saw me the last couple of years how it just, this game just teaches you that at the end of the day, it's just a game, and you really have to just enjoy it, enjoy the opportunity that you have of just being out there, because you might think you're doing amazing, and all of a sudden it just goes away.
Right.
Yeah, I always say it's a practiced apathy. It's just like, if I play well, great. If I don't, great. I can try and enjoy myself. And if we're competing for an ice cream bar or $100 a hole, then
I don't know about $100 a hole. That's
Buck a yard.
it's mortgage money.
Yeah, I'll probably, if I play $100 a hole, I'll probably lose every single hole. You know?
It's 25 handicap.
Yeah, absolutely. So how, I mean, in talking about instruction, like how has it changed since you started? You know, because how long have you been doing this?
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean,
Officially? You're younger, even though, you know, you're like me. We look.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah, we look a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite some time now. Oh, PGA, being a PGA member would be 25 years, probably.
Wow.
Then I was an apprentice for about 5. So it's been a long time. Just dating myself, really.
Yeah.
It's longer than I've been alive.
Yeah. So
But now, like instruction wise, like a regular lesson that was 25 years ago to today, like, is it the same? I know some people still do the same, but is it now like is it different? Like, I've taken lessons where, like, you know, there's a TrackMan and there's like a bunch of things.
Technology is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Technology really is unbelievable. When the technology first came out, you used to have this. We had it at Montclair. It was a big, you know, computer, right? You wheel out onto the range, right? Have an extension cord, and you start filming with a separate camera to the computer. Now I have the a software on my phone. You know, I have the teaching, you know, V1 teaching app on my phone now. All you got to do is film that way. You can draw on it, you know, lines and circles and whatnot. Technology is you know, the biggest thing for teaching, and the modern swing has changed too. If you noticed, everybody's swings are similar, right? You know, so whereas you know, back in the 80s or whatever, you know, the guys would finish with a reverse C because they're trying to get a 2-iron up in the air. You know, they hang back and try to pop up that 2-iron. So the you know, modern swing is a little more, you know, it's a little different. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, you see, it's amazing that how you say it, because now when I go back in YouTube a lot of times, you know, I'm one of those that goes to YouTube and starts watching like tournaments from the 1970s or 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, even Furyk, you know, his swing.
Nicholas lifting his front legs,
you know,
stuff like that.
Bobby Jones, you know, and Nicholas lifted up their heel, you know, so it's, you know, Trevino, you know, Ray Floyd, they had unique swings back then. Now, swings are similar if you think about it, right?
To my uneducated eye, it looked like they were more. It was more hands. It was more like, it just felt like more art than nowadays, where everything's, like you said, everything's very similar,
Right?
and everyone has like a very specific thought when they.
Yeah, the big thing is they repeat it, right? So that's the big thing. So whereas, you know, they all, if you break them all down, you know, from bell tie to bell tie, you know, coming down and back, or especially coming down, the impact angle, they're all similar. I mean, they're all right back on plane, whereas, you know, some people would loop it around and whatnot, but they're all back in a similar position, you know, so.
So now, how would you, like, what would you say is the most common mistakes that an amateur makes? Like, I did, like, just a regular guy who is, you know what, who can hit the ball. You know, he can play 18 holes without, you know, wasting 6 hours. But what would you say is the biggest mistake that people do when they start feeling like, hey, I'm actually able to play, but now what is the next step like?
So the modern swing, tying into that, is a lot of people want to move their body with their hands or before their hands to start their downswing, like almost like a baseball swing, because that's what is, you know, the old school swing, I feel, was. So you'll get like the left shoulder, if you're a righty, the lead shoulder will open before your hands get to your body. You know, a lot of people fight the slice, and that's exactly why you slice the ball, more or less. So that's what I see the most of, certainly teaching is, oh, you know, like I used to be an athlete. That's great. And it's good to have hand-eye coordination, but you got to get your hands to the ball first, and then you can move your body, because that's the modern golf swing. You know, you watch, like Brian just said about impact position. If you took frame by frame of pretty much every pro on tour where they are at impact, they're going to look within a centimeter of each other. Their hands are going to be in front of the ball, in front of the club head, and in front of their bodies.
That's usually the same, no matter what.
It's universal. There's a reason that they're professionals.
Yeah, it just a matter of how you get there and you know how you're able to repeat it.
Yeah, I would say takeaway, timing, and tempo are your three biggest things that anyone can focus on.
Now, what would you say is the number one habit that people should focus on? Like, it just general, you know, a lot of that.
I'd probably start. I mean, I'd probably start with the setup, right? I mean, Jack Nicklaus used to take a lesson every spring just on the fundamentals, right? You can't have a good swing without a good grip. You know, that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't care, you know, what your ability is. You should be able to hold the club properly.
Yeah.
Right. So I'd start with the fundamentals first. Right. It's amazing how many people have a bad grip or poor posture and whatnot. I'd start there for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing over time that people don't realize, you'll change it yourself without realizing it. So to get a tune-up like that, to make sure you're doing all the simplest things correct, makes a huge difference.
You know, that should happen to me. I mean, a lot of things happen to me because I tinker a lot with my golf, which I shouldn't be because I don't know shit about it, about a golf swing. But I realized a few months ago that I was like, I cannot close the club face. And then I realized that I was basically setting up myself all the time with my shoulder over here and basically just coming across completely.
Right.
And it was at the same time I was trying to come inside, and there's just no way that you can do that consistently. So it's definitely those little things it's important to just go ahead and work on a regular basis.
And just for the record, we're charging his member account for the lesson advice. So.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of free lessons because I'm always talking to these guys afterwards. I was like, hey, how do you do today? I was like, I suck again. I thought, and before I go out, I'm usually the one that's like, I'm feeling it today, especially before tournaments. Yeah, I think I'm going to shoot a 79. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't happen. Now, when it comes to equipment, so many people out there just start thinking, oh, you know, I want to, you know, I should get a brand new driver, a brand new putter. Right. You know, what are your thoughts on equipment? What is the one thing that definitely you should be upgrading from time to time?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Not to, you know, we are salesmen. We do have to sell merchandise. But the guy who just won on the PGA Tour had an 8-year-old driver, 7-year-old irons, and like a 10-year-old 3-wood. So, yeah, make the argument. You should definitely be upgrading your wedges yearly, depending on how much you play. I think if you're over 50, 60 rounds a year, definitely upgrade them every year. And then your driver, just the technology with new clubs these days, the driver, the woods make the most difference. And you're going to use your driver. In theory, most people use it 14 times a round. So, you know, it's a very important club, and the technology is so new that you give a pro a new driver and they're gaining 5 miles an hour. So for an amateur, it can make a world of difference.
Now, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot with this question, Brian, but so I have a very close friend. I love to that, John, my friend. And I'm always joking with him that I'm like, you know what? I want to get Titleist irons. I want to get like blades. But I want Titleist clubs. And sometimes he comes to me and he tells me, you know, you're not ready for it. And I think a lot of people think of the same thing, you know, when it comes to Titleist, which is like, you know, it's a brand that a lot of people feel like, oh, it's only for really good players. Right. But is it really for good players? Or is that something in the past, nowadays? What are your thoughts on that?
Not at all. You know, they have, what if 4 different, well.
Oh, you have like 6 or 7 different types
including
of iron.
the blades, right? So they do make forgiving clubs, right? So I just got a combo set where I have, harder to hit clubs. They're not even blade or bladey, but not blades. 7 through wedge, and whereas 4, 5, and 6, I have easier, more forgiving clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the sets they do now are combo sets, just for that, because 4-iron's a lot harder to hit than a 9-iron, right? So, but Titleist, I mean, all companies, not just Titleist, they make forgiving clubs.
Yeah.
So
You'd be surprised how many elite level players don't play blades.
Yeah, it's a new thing. I mean,
Because why make the game harder than it needs to be?
Why do you want blades?
Like they look great. Some of it's look, if it objectively looks good to you, you'll prefer it. Even if it's harder to hit, you won't notice it as much. But the workability of a modern combo set is pretty much the same as a new set of blades. And you're just looking at butter knives. I mean, a 4-iron blade literally is just vertical. So it's
now,
like
why would a pro play blades? Like now, like maybe in the past, why was the reason why a lot of people will be like, oh, I need to play a blade as opposed to like a
workability for them?
And what do you mean by workability? And this is for those.
Yes, being able to move the ball left to right, right to left, low, high,
Right.
and any combination of those things. They didn't have to worry about hitting the center of the club face. So a blade that has a very little sweet spot made no difference to them. So they wanted to be able to flight the ball the way that they wanted to see it. And they I need to hit a draw into this fairway, a draw into this green, things like that. Now, with the technology, I mean, they could pick up any club and hit the same.
Yeah, because I mean, the newer clubs, they just tend to, I mean, especially the ones that are meant for high handicappers, they just tend to go straight, right? Because usually
higher.
And higher.
So.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, I can tell you, it's hard to hit a 4-iron. An actual 4, not like a 5, an actual 4-iron, it's hard to hit. So obviously now we're at the end of the season. I mean, we're pretty much, it's officially off season. What is your advice to golfers in the off season? What, for example, what should they be working on, or should they completely forget about golf?
No, I'd say you have to stay in shape. Go, do some golf exercises. TPI has some exercises you can do. Stay in golf shape now, especially with simulators popping up all over the place. I mean, we're setting ours up, right after the holidays. We're going to set up the TrackMan simulator. I mean, so now, even right down the street, there's an indoor facility. So I try to just stay on top of your game, whether it's once a week, try to hit balls or do some exercises or whatnot. So.
My advice would be don't tinker, because as much as you might want to, and with the prevalence of indoor facilities where you can go swing, you pay your $20 or $50 or whatever it is, or some of them have memberships now, it doesn't look the same when you actually can't see the ball in flight. I would just say keep swinging and get a tune-up lesson in the spring and make sure that you've been doing all the right things, but keeping yourself loose, keeping yourself in shape, do a yoga. Go to the gym, whatever, stretch in your living room. It all helps.
Yeah, it's, it makes, I play a ton of golf, and a lot of guys here play a ton of golf, and it's so amazing how you need to be in shape to just handle 6 months of playing. Because it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I'll play 3-4 days in a row, and then the next week I just cannot play, and then your game suffers. And you're like, oh, I'm waking up with pain here and there, and it's like, okay, yeah, but I haven't stretched in months.
All these people on tour are so fit now.
Say,
the days of going to the Martini Lounge after a round of golf are gone, right? They go right to the gym, or, work out again.
Yeah.
So
they actually work out before to activate the muscles. And then afterwards, they go ahead and work out to make sure that they're ready for the next day.
For sure, yeah.
So now let's do a few questions regarding a bunch of other topics, but like besides Raritan Valley Country Club.
There is nothing besides Raritan.
Okay. So actually, you know what? Let me back up and then say, what is your favorite hole at Raritan Valley Country Club? And why? I want to know why.
I'd say, I guess my favorite would be 16 for some reason. I like 16. There isn't much to it. It just, it looks good to my eye, off the tee. It's pretty much a straight hole, but for some reason I like 16.
16.
Yeah, 16's a great, don't ask me why. It looks good. Looks good to my eye.
It's a long hole.
Right.
It's a long hole, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you got like Somerset County to aim at. For you, spray it off the tee.
Yeah, sure. You can hit it anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely forgiving.
Right.
Definitely forgiving.
I don't know if I have like a favorite. I have some ones that I like the least. But I think one is an engaging golf hole. It's usually dead into the fan, 500 and something yards long, par 5. It's really not gettable. I think I've hit it 3 times in 2. But it's like it's either going to punch you in the mouth to start your round, or if you can get out of there with a birdie or a par, like you feel pretty good. 2 and 3 aren't the easiest golf holes in the world. So, I always say if you can do it to your handicap or do it even to your handicap, like you're in pretty good shape for the rest of the round.
I feel like number one is such a difficult hole even for like long hitters, because no matter what, like first you have to hit it straight, more than any other hole. There's actually a lot of danger if you go to the sides.
Tough
and then on top of that, like, okay, you hit it in the fairway, and let's say if you're really long, you're gonna have somewhat of a downward lie to try and hit a 3-wood, because I've seen so many really good players where they'll hit it like 290, let's say. And then down there, it's basically you're like, which you kind of have to cut, or depending where you are. They just, I'll mention one of the members here just had last season when we played, he hit a beautiful shot into the green, but that doesn't usually happen. You don't really see many players hit the green into it. It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. I would also say 7. Actually, it's probably my actual favorite, because you can play from 130 yards to 200 yards, depending where the tees and the pin are. And everyone loves that front pin, obviously, on 7. So
yeah, that's the hole-in-one.
It's the hole-in-one pin,
which I've never had it, but anyway, it is a hole-in-one.
One day
it will come. I'll come close. Now, besides Raritan Valley Country Club, which is your favorite club that you have played, the favorite golf course?
Favorite? I have a few of them, but I'd put Oakmont. I'd put Oakmont on top. Oakmont's
I think that would qualify for a lot of people.
Yeah, Oakmont's a good one. I've been fortunate. I've played a lot of good golf courses.
Good golf courses.
Oakmont would be up there for me for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Same. Luckily, I've played some pretty big ones. I would say Friar's Head on Long Island. It was like just heaven on earth to me.
Yeah, it just looks absolutely. Yeah, because the clubhouse in Friar's Head, is it by the water?
The whole club is like on the.
It's beautiful, right?
That's
it's a nice part of the world.
Yeah, tough to get in there, but maybe.
I will say, not a welcoming club. They did not want us there at all. My uncle is a PGA member for life and had worked on Long Island for over 40 years. And they were like, okay, yeah, like, go ahead. Here's your caddy. And like, we'll see you. So like, does that count for something? Sure. But the rest of the experience, the golf course was just unbelievable.
I see. Yeah, no, totally. Now, dream foursome. And it could be anybody.
Alive or dead.
Yeah. Whatever, like, anybody.
I would do my uncle, the pro, my father, and his brother. So keep it in the family.
That's always.
My father didn't play, but I'd have my father, my 2 sons. Golfer wise, I'd probably have Nicholas, Hogan, and Woods would be a good one.
Nicholas, Hogan, and Woods.
Right?
That would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be good. Now, let's talk about what's your favorite golf movie?
Caddyshack.
Yeah. Tin Cup.
Yeah, Tin Cup is nice, yeah.
But I'd have to say Caddyshack.
Yeah, I like Caddyshack too, but it's Tin Cup. It's inspirational, especially because I put a lot of balls into the water all the time. I've played
that course too in Florida. Yeah, I've played that.
Yeah. Now, as we start wrapping up, what are you excited about next season?
I'm excited for, hopefully the weather's good. We have a good tournament season. Excited for the membership, come back. And we also have a new management company. So looking forward for a new chapter there. And there'll be probably some subtle changes, which is probably good. Change is good sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to the season.
Yeah.
So.
How about you, Campbell?
Yeah, I would echo all of those. Interesting to see kind of where the direction of the club professionally. I'm hoping to have my full PGA by the end of next year, so that'll be a nice feather in my cap. Looking forward to playing more, maybe go play some really nice golf courses, either with the section or just personally.
Yeah, you playing any tournaments in next year?
We don't know the set schedule yet, but I usually play, like half the pro-ams, and I'll play like 5 other section events that are always at some nice tracks. Maybe do some traveling. Who knows? Now,
I forgot this question, but I have to ask: what is your lowest score ever?
64.
64.
I tied the course record at Montclair with 64.
That's tough. Yeah, those greens.
I tied it with Sam Randolph when the U.S. Amateur was at Montclair in 1985. He also had a 64. So
look at you.
I do have the ball. I do have the ball mounted downstairs with the scorecard in my basement. So one of those days, every stars were aligned and I hit everything close. The odd thing is, I made a double bogey on that 64.
Oh, so that's a 64 with a double bogey.
With a double bogey, but it's so funny that with the double, I thought as soon as I hit it, I thought I was going to be next to the hole because all my shots were, a lot of them were kick-ins.
Yeah.
I remember every shot of that round, but as soon as I hit this on the 9th hole, I thought I hit another close one, end up flying airmail to green. And if you're over the greens at Montclair, that's death. So ended up with a double, but it's something proud of, but that was 100 years ago, that was before marriage and kids. So
tough to replicate it now.
No, that was 100 years ago.
Well, I'm hoping, and you know who I'm talking to, I'm hoping to get an invite next year. So hopefully I'll go ahead and mention your name.
Who knows? It probably broke it now.
I mean, 64 is a 64. I don't see a lot of people, nowadays these kids, I'm sure
it's broken now.
We had a 16-year-old come here and shoot 64 in the Tournament of Champions. He birdied from, 4 to 11 in a row.
Yeah. And he was a freshman.
He's a freshman.
In high school. Yeah. Someone said he won the National High School Championship too.
Yeah.
This kid's something else.
Yeah. How about you?
I shot like 10 under at mini golf once. Is that
mini golf?
Yeah. I can't really follow that.
I should ask you first, but
thanks. Next time. My personal lowest is 69. The round I'm most proud of, I shot even at Pinehurst number 2 with hickory clubs.
Ooh,
that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still working on getting into a 60, so
Net 64.
Net 60.
Oh yeah, I
don't think I've ever had a net. A net 64 is just actually really tough. Yeah.
I take 64 through like 16 holes. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you got there eventually.
Well, guys, thank you so much for this time. This was really fun. I really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of work to be done, and thank you for taking the time to come into the talk with me and the Dani Orisa podcast.
Thank you, Dani.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.